My goal in conducting case studies like this one is to lead with an outcome that I think we can all agree people would be excited about, but not just make it so, crazy that we don't break it down enough to where they can model or see, oh, okay, well, here's what I should be doing. There is so much shiny object syndrome. There are so many people saying, well, do this, do that, that it is really hard to separate what you should be doing from what you should be ignoring, right? And most of the time, and even when I do my content, I try and keep it based on things that I personally have done. I know a lot of content out there is based on almost like the Telegram game, where they hear something and then they regurgitate it over and over again because they want to, have an awesome YouTube channel, I guess. Quite frankly, I don't care if I have an awesome YouTube channel. I like having a good YouTube channel, but only if what we're putting out is helpful. For you, the user, that's the commitment today. Me and Josh are here to hopefully set your brains on fire with usable information. So,
you go back. I was an insurance agent, still am. Now I don't write policies, haven't wrote
what
active
type
policies.
of insurance?
We were selling burial insurance to seniors out in the ghetto.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, man.
That's a niche.
Yeah, no, that's when I started packing back in the day, but no, the insurance man gets a pass in the ghetto. It's all good. But yeah, so I was selling that for years, and I was going to school. I was doing other things, and so I was trying to do it part time. So I've always been naturally kind of lazy, and so I wanted to, even before automation was a thing, I wanted to find the most streamlined way to do something. I remember reading a book by Brian Tracy. He said, figure out, how much you make an hour. And then, as soon as you can find somebody that can do what you do for less per hour, hire them up. And so I hired an appointment setter, and I would just spend a lot of money on marketing. And then my appointment setter would fill me appointments. And so, I did that for a while, and then eventually started an agency with Brandon Smotherman, who's my business partner. And he was a rock star. Like when I was out there selling insurance, I'd write 180, 200,000 a year. But he would write 400, 500,000 a year. And so we partnered up because I started learning some things about digital marketing, automations, emails, texting, sequences, just a lot of the stuff. And from there, we kind of blew it up and blew up our insurance agency, and it grew, and we had a big lead gen business. And then COVID hit. And if you could imagine trying to sell, burial insurance to high risk seniors in their home, that got affected pretty dramatically.
Yeah.
And so while I had been using, digital marketing for recruiting, I always knew in the back of my mind, I was like, I need to create something for agents to use. And I knew it was going to be a big task. And so I just kept putting it off. But COVID forced me into it. And originally it was just to solve the need for our agency. Right. And we went out and we just got, a dialer that had some texting email sequences and things like that. And eventually, I found Go High Level. And from there, we built out, that was kind of the start of it. And then from there, all she wrote.
So did you, what was your, Brandon, is that what you said his name was?
Brandon, yep.
So did you guys kind of look at your partnership like he's the sales guy, I'm the marketing guy?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think we necessarily
were those the roles that you fulfilled, do you think?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I was marketing and automation and kind of putting the machine together, doing that type of stuff. And yeah, he was the sales guy, and he was almost like the guy to promote. Hey, you talk about following somebody that's done this. Hey, he's done this at a super high level. I've done it at a pretty good level. I found out that there are very few insurance agents that do it at that level, even at what I was at. So what he was at was a real high number. And yeah, when COVID started, he actually went and started a call center, and we were, he was operating that, and I was handling some of the digital stuff for that while I built Agent Autopilot.
And then the vertical you went after burial insurance, what was that next line of business you started writing?
So when we built Agent Autopilot, It was pretty much for burial insurance, and then because a lot of that's the senior market space, we did a lot with Medicare.
Yeah.
And then we just started adding all the different life and health niches. So mortgage protection, health insurance, ACA, annuities, IULs, all that fun stuff. And so, originally it was just kind of, automation. We like to offer a real complete done for you product, so where the users, they don't have to set anything up. I'm talking domains, custom values, custom fields, the text, the email sequence, all that stuff when they come in is done for them.
But about choosing a niche. And the reason why I'm doing the reason for this particular question is a lot of people do two things. Number one, they either think, well, I don't need a niche. Every local business, every customer can be my niche. That's number one. And number two is I believe that people who think they need a niche or agree they need a niche, I don't think they understand what a quote niche actually is. Can you kind of talk about your thoughts on that and your experience with that?
Yeah, I mean, I was taught very early on, the riches are in the niches,
Yeah.
right? And so even selling insurance, oh, well, I could sell life and Medicare and final expense, burial insurance. Can't, no, pick one and make that your focus. Because even now, where I'm at now, where we have multiple large products that we, sell, it is a lot trying to manage multiple things, even at a high level. Even once you've mastered one and then moved on to the next, it is a lot of work to stay on top of everything. So just niching down is going to make things simpler. Now, it is important that you know something about the niche that you're trying to sell to too.
Yes.
That's if somebody is, trying to get into the, whatever real estate niche and they've never, done anything in the real estate, they're not going to know the problems, that those type of folks have. And so I think that's important. They need to come at it. But also it helps you in your marketing and your lead generation. I can be very targeted in my marketing, because like you said, I mean, if I said, hey, I've got a voice AI product that's going to help your business, or if I said, hey, I've got a product for, insurance agents so that you never have to make a dial again, I'm hitting that target market and I'm very
Yeah.
specific. And even in that, again, there's so many niches, we have to be very targeted, and we always do better in targeted marketing campaigns.
Yeah.
But and so then you can get use cases. So then when you start getting testimonials, okay, if you're trying to be a wide open niche for everybody and you get some guy that's a plumber and then you're trying to sell a mortgage broker, it's just not going to
Not
compute.
going to
They're
work.
not the same. and
Yeah.
and and every time you add a new niche, that's just as much work you're going to have to do to support them, to build whatever out. I mean, learning the
Yeah.
marketing for those niches. I mean, the riches are in the niches.
The
Start
riches are in the
small.
niches. You said something really important, and I want to just highlight this, and then we'll move on to phase two, I guess we'll call it. You said know something about your market. So here's why that stood out to me. There's a behavior that I characterize as the Me Too marketer. Okay. And the Me Too marketer is the person who quickly chooses a niche or chooses an offer, an approach to the market. It's like, okay, I'm going to offer this. And that's the extent of the thought that goes into what they will be providing to fill in the blank niche. As I've looked back at our top performers, you're in one of those, you're in that category for sure. Something that I have found that every single top producer does is not only do they pick a niche, but they are so knowledgeable about that niche, how they make money, where the best opportunities are inside that niche, specifically the online behaviors and offline behaviors of their customers, all of those things, those dynamics, they know them. And in most cases, now you obviously could because you do, but in most cases, agencies learn so much about those businesses, about their customers, that they could almost go into that business and manage the business operations, manage the growth of that one business, even if they haven't worked in it. Like I personally never like was an employee of a chiropractic clinic, but I know those clinics inside and out. I could go in there today and grow their business, even though I don't know how to adjust anybody.
Sure.
Right. And so when I look at this online behavior of what I call the Me Too marketer, they're not doing what you've done. Acquire the knowledge, the skill, and the experience in a very specific niche. You guys built your business around a niche. You effectively built all of your systems to achieve those outcomes. So your client in your agency, is it other agents? I assume it's insurance agent. Yes.
Yeah, they're in most cases individual insurance agents, sometimes agencies, but we handle a lot on the individual agent front.
Could you kind of give a broad framework on how, and if you, as specific as you want to get, buddy,
Sure.
but
Yeah.
how you
No,
get
I
customers?
mean, it goes back to the niche, right? And one of the things I preach to everybody is your list is your most valuable resource. It's the most, I mean, it used to be that oil, energy, that was the greatest resource, but now it's data, right? It's the data that you own, that you control. Your email list is, I mean, it should be printing you money. And one of the things that we came into that was kind of a cheat sheet or cheat to the whole thing was because we were recruiting all these agents before, we had a very large email list at the time. I mean, I say it was very large at the time, it was 5,000 insurance agents. And then we had a Facebook group that had about 5,000 insurance agents that we were very actively involved in at the time. And so, as we were launching Agent Autopilot, we were just marketing to those people. Most years, we don't spend a lot on. Now, last year was different. Last year, we probably spent $500,000 on Facebook ads personally. We'll make as much this year, maybe a little less, and we spent about 10,000 on marketing this
Because
year.
you own the list.
Yeah. I mean, all we've been doing is remarketing because so last year we spent a lot of money bringing people in and our list ballooned. I think it was like at 10,000 last year. Now it's at 30,000, 20,000 phone numbers. So now, I mean, I can just, and I got very good at the beginning of, creating a marketing campaign specifically for our organic audience where we're getting them hyped up, and then, hey, we're about to launch this. Hey, and now it's more, hey, sign up for our webinar. It's coming up. And then we do the webinar, and then we have a post-sale, email drip sequence after the fact and all that. So a lot of it was, again, organic marketing. We did have some big affiliate. We do have some big affiliates in our niche. And so we're able to market to their audience as well. And so that helps out a lot as well. We started out with just the automation. I remember when we came out, when we, after just a few months of launching, we were up to, I don't know what it was, 40, 50,000 MRR. I was like, man, this is it, baby. That's the game has changed, and it all churned, right? I don't want to say it all churned, but a lot of it churned.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because, we're like, hey guys, you got to get this automation system and you got to put your leads in there. Well, the agents didn't put any leads in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, so what do we do? So then we kind of changed tactics and started selling a Facebook ads course on the front end for a large amount, depending on when we did it, 1,500, 2,000. And then we'd give them a couple months free to the SaaS. And then the idea was that we would give them a machine to generate their leads and enough time to get it going and drop it in there. And then it also enabled us to basically, we got a lot of money up front. If they churned after 2 months, I mean, I cared, but I didn't care as much as the guy that came in, off a free trial or, off a 1 month subscription. Right. And, eventually that transitioned into, even that, because we could look at the data and we would see only about 20% of the people ever went through the Facebook course. People just do not do the work. And so we eventually transition to just a complete done for you where we'll set up your ads, we'll set up, I mean, we help them do everything, right? We'll set up your Facebook ad account, your business manager, your Facebook page, we'll integrate it all with Autopilot, we'll launch your first ads, and then after that you can use our one-click ads launcher, which is what we call UpHex, right, to launch the ads. And so that's where we're at now. Well, man, we're farther than that now, but we're that's where we've been for the last year and a half. Now we just recently launched our voice AI literally weeks ago, but that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah. I did a video in our community maybe 2 months ago or something, like a little bit while back. After reflecting on some of the things, it's like, okay, if I were to go back, what are some things that I didn't do right that were big needle movers. I did a lot of things that were wrong, right? Nobody there back, and I don't know when you started. I started in 2015. There was like not a lot of people to show you how to do this. The biggest regret that I could come up with was I didn't really start building my list probably for 3 years, right? Because I was always in a hurry to get the sale, right? And luckily for me, I was good naturally at talking to people and doing sales. So I getting like building revenue and that wasn't my problem, right? And I had my partner Jacob who could fulfill, and so we were doing that, but it was always a heavy lift for me to get clients. I'd have to cold call or I'd have to ask for referrals or whatever. Like it was very hard. And the moment that I figured out and started building that list, getting customers almost became effortless. In fact, it was like, okay, my team would literally come to me and be like, hey, either we can take on more customers now, our workload is okay, or hey, we need some more customers. We've had maybe a month that was underperformed. We need customers. And it was as simple as going, boom, pushing a sequence of acquisition emails or, seeding the jar, getting booked appointment emails, and I'd do it. Or I do a webinar. I do one of those two things. I'd fill us up and then we were done. And it was such a cool thing to have that problem, the acquisition problem solved. Okay. So there's really two things in here. Number one, if you're a newer agency and you are not sure, like you're not already building a list, you have to start doing it. There are some simple ways for you to start doing it, even without ads. Like you can literally collect them. Like you can Google like people and get emails and LinkedIn and all that stuff. You can start doing it that way. You can start running ads. You can do affiliate promotions. Like you do an affiliate promotion with a thought leader in whatever space it is, and you have 200 people register for a webinar that you do. That's 200 opt-ins that you just got. That your list just grew by 200, right? And so if you're not building your list, you must think based on where you're at today, what do I need to do to build my list? What resources do I have? And I'll shatter a limiting belief right here, and I'd be interested in your thoughts on this, Josh, is if you spend ad dollars and you run value facing ads to only get the opt-in, like you're not going for an immediate sale right away, you will see immediate sales right away, so long as you have a nurture sequence set up. Or in other words, because you so desperately want revenue from the ads that you are running, you run like offer ads like, hey, I'll give you 20 appointments next week, or you don't pay me anything, or I'll pay you $1,000. Or you could say, here's what's working in 2024 to get qualified insurance leads in your insurance brokerage and the ads that we've used to land X amount of sales last month. Lead with that, and boom, people are going to be like, oh, he's not selling me anything. He's giving me value. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh yeah. So when I was running ads early, they were all lead magnet ads. I mean, here's a free quote engine, here's a free, final expense presentation, here's a free appointment setting script, and just get them to opt in.
Yes.
And I had and again, originally it was to try to recruit them to our agency, and so we would have a real heavy short-term sequence, the last maybe 14 days to try to get them to schedule on our calendar. And then it would drop them into a long-term value nurture type of drip where it was nothing but valuable content, 80%. We didn't ask for anything. Now at the bottom, it would say PS, if there's an agency you're looking for, click here to schedule. And we had that when we had that firing on all cylinders. Both me and my business partner would have 30 to 40 scheduled appointments a week of people to talk to,
Isn't
and we
that
were
funny?
yeah. I mean, you got to build the machine, and that's what I learned originally when I first learned anything about digital marketing. That was what they were helping me set up. All right, here's Active Campaign, here's Zapier, here's ClickFunnels. All right, you're going to get them from over here, and it's going to drop in, and bam, 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 and you just build that list, and then I just expanded from that. But it's the same. You got to build the machine first, and you got to have, with the idea of, I'm building my audience. That's what I'm doing.
People think that if they offer a lead magnet, or in other words, if they sell a thing that is designed to in the future sell their thing, They think that that is going to take too much time to pay back, to pay them back. But what you're saying, and by the way, bro, I back you 100%. You are totally right. Just by leading with the lead magnet, if it's something that they want, which is not hard to figure out, number one, you then don't have to do all those crazy guarantees. That how many crazy guarantees do you see your competition running?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I see the ones you're talking about. I don't know. I don't know what's in the fine print of all those, but it can't be good, right?
Exactly. But your customers, by the way, your customers know there's fine print. You know, anybody running, I guarantee you this outcome, that is not what running ads B2B, running ads to get customers for your agency. That is not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be sell the thing that sells the thing. Find a lead magnet that builds a relationship that then makes that person look at what you've created, just the thing you gave for free, be like, man, Josh helped me. PS, by the way, if you want to talk about outcome that we can provide, click here. All of a sudden, because you went through a value window and not a pitch window, you get what you wanted in the first place. Every agency owner that crushes it is doing that thing. That's it. And so when you say, oh, there's too many people, I'm competing against too many people, or is this space saturated? No, it's wide open. You want to know why? Because everybody else is doing it that way. We're going value first. That's what makes a narrow audience, niche audience, and then value first. That's what makes you undeniable. And I think the remainder of this discussion could honestly be about how you are acquiring customers with what you said. And I want to, from what I heard, lay it out and you tell me how close I am.
Okay.
So you created a Facebook course designed to help insurance agents launch their own ads. You effectively said, hey, do you want to get a whole bunch of ads? Let me teach you how to run ads. You sold that course. And then on the back of that course, you then offered them your product that could do that without all of the work effectively.
Well, so yes and no. So, I mean, originally when we were selling the Facebook ads course, they would get, Agent Autopilot, and that was it. I mean, we didn't have access to UpHex. When we integrated UpHex, it was when we had that really big month, and when we brought on 100 clients and I knew I was going to bring on 100 more and 100 more, within weeks of that, I needed something to speed up the process of onboarding. Because have you ever tried to set up somebody's Facebook ad through Zoom? I mean, because I mean, you're talking, I mean, I love insurance agents to death, but most of them, if they've got to do it themselves, they just won't do it and they won't, they're going to churn. And so we just learned to do it for them. And so, I mean, when we're sitting there on Zoom trying to set up their Facebook ad campaign, you can't copy and paste anything through Zoom, I mean,
Yeah.
and you're trying to take over their screen and do it. It was ridiculous. And so that's when we really started integrating that. And really over the last 18 months, we transitioned to selling by webinars. And so that was a big difference as well. So then we were getting them to opt into the webinar. And so that, obviously when you're running ads to that, you still you almost pitch that as a value, right? I'm going to show you
That's
how
right.
to do X, Y, and Z to solve
That's right.
ABC problem. And then obviously at the end, hey, I would even show them. I was like, look, you can do this, and I'm sure you guys could do this yourself. Given enough time, you can figure this out. I was like, but there's a value, to time, right? So yeah, we got it all here for you. So you can pay us to do it for you, and obviously we pitch, sell it at the end. But that's what we've been doing, I guess the last 18 months.
So before you guys started using UpHex, you were doing the done for you approach, but just by manually going in and effectively doing what UpHex does through automation, but just doing it manually.
That's right. And we did that for a short period of time because we had run some done for you launches before, but they were very limited and we charged a lot more, to be honest.
Yeah.
And so, when we did it, and the team was just, and I mean, I'm sitting there on, Zoom calls, setting up people's Facebook ads, and I'm hiring all sorts of people. And I was like, there's got to be a better way. And I made a post, I think it was in the GHL group, I was like, guys, what can I do? And they say, you got to check out UpHex, and this is another thing because when you're selling a product or service, you need to find a problem to solve.
That's
You
right.
know, I mean, it can't just be I'm out here, I'm going to make some money and let me go sell to these people because I think that's a good niche. Find a problem that niche has that you can solve with whatever it is you're offering. I came to you because you'd already solved the problem. I didn't have it yet, but once I had it, I went and found you.
Yeah. And so you guys, the month before, we're doing it all manual. How much revenue do you think you did on average in a month before UpHex?
150 maybe.
Okay. Pretty good still, right? But then right after UpHex and your profit margins before that.
Well, our profit margin people, we always have really good profit margins.
Okay.
We just, I mean, we have VAs, that we pay, and for a long time, we didn't have VAs, or maybe we had one or two. But that's our, we got some technology expenses, right?
Yeah.
I pay you. I don't know what I pay you. Was it 500 a month? I don't know
I
what
love
it
that.
is.
If you're
Uh,
crushing, who cares, right?
so we've got some expenses, but it's our margins are, I mean 50, 60, 70% even now, most months. So we've always had a good profit margin.
By the way, at your level, you're only paying me $497 a month. So
Woo.
just
Yeah.
so so you get that, and then the month after you get UpHex integrated, you guys start scaling like crazy and do 385.
Yeah, well, so it was kind of like in the middle of that, right? So probably, we'd done 200 and then we
Yeah.
added you and we did 385. That was probably that whole month. The next month we probably did a similar number. And then, but you can only pitch the same thing to the same organic audience, the email list, so
Yeah.
many times, and so we'd have to wait a few months to launch it again. And that's when we started running ads, and we were spending, at the height of it last year, 40, 50 grand a month on ads.
Yeah. I
We're
remember
bringing
talking
in
to you.
you know and so, and we just kept using it, right? And now I don't know that we ever had as big a month as that, where we were launching, a brand new product that was really awesome, to our audience and to our
Yeah.
affiliate audience. And then we launched it again to our audience and to our affiliate audience, probably 4 times in about 3 months time frame. We probably brought in, well over $1 million in revenue in just those 3-4 months.
Yeah. And then in terms of the offer, your webinar now, do you mind kind of discussing what your offer and your strategy is on monetizing, like converting that webinar into paid customers, liquidating your ad costs, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, some people talk about, okay, well, I'm gonna sell this, and then if I keep them on for 3 months, I'll liquidate my ad costs. I
Yeah.
don't spend a dime on ads if I don't think I'm gonna liquidate immediately.
Yeah.
If I don't liquidate immediately, it's a fail in my mind,
Agreed.
and so, and again, we have not spent. I think I spent 10 grand on ads back in January, rolling off of whatever we were doing from last year, and then we just kind of stopped doing that. And we launched a few products while we were waiting for our voice AI. We built our own, and then we actually just launched that a couple weeks ago. And so what we used to charge, 1,500 for our done for you ads, right, for whatever the niche was that we were doing, and that was kind of our deal, right? We might have the Medicare sales accelerator, the T65 Medicare sales accelerator, the
Yeah.
annuity sales accelerator, whatever, and
Yeah.
we would charge $1,500, 1497, right? You would get 2 months of Agent Autopilot for free, and then it'd be 197 a month after that. Now our current offer is the voice AI, and they get all that stuff included, and we charge less. We charge on our lower tier. We charge $997, so it's a $500 setup fee, $497 a month, but we get $497 a month, and then
Yeah.
we're obviously making money, a little bit of money on the minutes, the leads, all that stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah. The number one, you really need to look at any strategy, whatever it is, and your strategy will vary and change based on your niche, because your niche, they have their own personality. Insurance agents are different than doctors. Doctors are different than mortgage loan originators. Mortgage loan originators are different than uh, lawyers, right? They all have their own personality traits, and they all also have kind of like these accepted norms of what they're used to paying for and things along those lines. So people always ask me all the time, well, what's your pricing strategy? I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like, you got to test it. You got to find it. The average UpHex user is probably doing $497 a month. And I think that I set the tone for that, right? They're like, well, what did you do? Like, well, I charged $497 a month. I don't think that's right. Right. I've seen other people charge $197 a month, like you're talking about, but keep people for a long time. Right. And at the end of the day, if you liquidate the cost, and in your case, profit from acquiring a customer, you're in the black already. But the real money, you print money when you keep customers.
Sure.
Most of your strategy, in my personal opinion, is at minimum liquidate the cost of your customer, have a strategy around that, but make your entire business model built around how can we keep our customers as long as possible, because that's like compound interest. If
Sure.
you get people paying you over time, it just takes everything and makes it so easy. um I tell you what, this has been absolutely phenomenal, dude. You're First off, congratulations once again.
Thank you.
You know, I'm glad that we were able to play a small role in your success. But I even said, by the way, I added you to my UpHex webinar, right? And I said, listen, we are not the reason that Josh crushed it, but we did help, right? We did find a problem in his business that we could help him with. And because he had established all the skills, all the niche understanding, all this, everything, he could then take that and boom, go crush it, which you did. Um, my final question, say you are an agency in their first year, you're getting started. Outside of the advice we've already provided in the whatever this is, interview, case study, what would be one thing that you would tell an agency owner that is just trying to get off the ground and trying to build an agency that either replaces their current income, or that's really like just build a big business? What would that be? And I didn't prep you for this, so
Yeah,
whatever you come up with.
I mean, couple of things. I mean, one would be quick communication. People have an idea of what customer service should look like, and most companies give horrible customer service.
Agreed.
And if you can, exceed their expectations, you will keep them for longer, I
Yes.
think. And then the other thing is find the end result that they're looking for, especially if you're doing something like where the people that you're selling to are not salespeople. If you're going after a doctor's office or a chiropractic office, like you mentioned, I wouldn't even, I mean, that would drive me nuts because they don't know how to sell the leads. Even if they get them, the leads are always going to suck.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
so, you really need, and even when I'm selling to salespeople that are not very good, I'm trying to get them that end result. I mean, we include, sales training, literally live Zoom calls, every week on sales training
Yeah.
specifically so they can sell better, so they can sell the leads that they're getting and that they're generating, that they're taking in from whatever, we're helping them get. Because, I mean, a lot of these people that buy, at least in our niche, some of them are on their last leg. Like they don't know what they're doing. They're just hoping that we can somehow solve that problem for them. And I want to solve that problem for them, but a lot of it's on them, right?
Yeah,
But that doesn't matter. If you can't solve that problem for them, they're going to churn.
that's right. I agree 100% with both of those. Proactive support and communication that changed my agency. That was the first thing that we fell into it because UpHex was able to like alleviate a lot of the manual labor that my team was doing. We then shifted those people to proactive support, like before a problem even happened. Hey, we noticed your lead cost was increasing, so we made a couple changes. You should see that, improve over the next 2 to 3 days. That one thing just changed everything for us. Josh, you're a beast, dude. Thank you. And thank you for being very hat in hand. And you see, by the way, you see that with people actually crushing it in their agency. They're like, hey, this is how I'm doing it. So I appreciate you doing that with sharing with the audience. And maybe should we have you back again? I mean, that would be awesome.
Sure. Anytime.
Maybe we'll talk about voice AI next time.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming. And for the viewer, thanks for watching. Hopefully you got a ton of value out of this. If you want more content like this, subscribe to the channel. But also come hang out with Josh and I. We are in the UpHex community. You can just search UpHex official community on Facebook. Come check us out, and we'll see you in the next video.